All right, guys, here we are. Welcome back. So we spent a good amount of time in the last lecture getting comfy with Snapchat, thinking up ideas for content to snap and share. And we started into a couple of tactics to help promote things like a branded geofilter. Remember, it's only like $5 for 20,000 square feet, or cross-promoting on other social channels as well. Well, in this lecture, I want to explain one particular tactic that a bunch of brands have used as a way to expand their own following, essentially piggybacking on the goodwill of another account. And this is what's called a takeover. In general social media terms, a takeover is when someone takes over a social media account, be it a Twitter, Facebook, or yes, a Snapchat account. It generally lasts for like a few hours, sometimes a whole day, but the idea here is that the person shows you a different side of your brand. It's from their perspective. It's often much less marketing and prepared content and more spontaneous, fun, and unpredictable. So that special someone could be, let's say, an employee like Jimmy from the mailroom, or I don't know, the CEO. And if you wanted to show off your business from a different point of view, it's not a bad idea. But our goal right now is to build a following and grow your customer base. With that in mind, it'd make more sense to choose someone with a bigger following and some influence in the hopes it'll benefit your Snapchat following and your brand as a whole. Now here is roughly how this works. When brand A, that's you, asks brand B, somebody with a big old following that's directly related to what you do or your audience, when you ask them to take over their account, brand A is obviously hoping that brand B's followers will first, obviously care about what you're posting, and then perhaps they'll click through and follow your account. And then obviously somewhere down the line, that person who then follows your Snapchat account stays in touch with your company and eventually buys from you. Brand A wants to use brand B's influence to raise its own profile. Depending on who you ask to take over your profile, it might also make you look cooler or more legitimate. It can certainly show off your brand in a new light, since it'll be happening from a different perspective that is not your own for a change. So who is this magic person that can bring all these new followers and attention to your Snapchat account? Now, obviously it could be a celebrity, sure, if you actually know a celebrity, then you could try to do this, but the odds of that happening are basically none. But maybe it could be a more local influencer or a local personality. Obviously, the higher the profile, the better it is if you're trying to establish brand recognition and reputation, but at the very beginning, it's going to be harder to reach these upper groups of people. Now, what I generally suggest is you go for influencers, and this is really just someone with a big-ish following on Snapchat or at least other channels. Handing the reins over to them means they'll promote the takeover to their followers, potentially exposing to you, obviously, to tons of their new eyeballs. So who is shaping the conversation in your market, or at least in a related market, and has some headway in Snapchat? Well, ideally, if you know of someone that uses your product, well, that's generally a great place to start. Someone with an interest in your product or your kind of product also works. Whoever you pick, there should be a logical connection between your brand and theirs. If you've created an app to find the nearest dog park in your town, well, then an influencer who has a dog will obviously make a lot of sense. If you created an app to improve productivity on the go, then someone that's constantly traveling would also be a good pick. But also just try to make sure you get a personality match. If you pick someone who's wild and wacky and cusses all the time, well, then obviously it might not make sense for your brand if you're not also the same. Part of your research before you do this should be to follow them and check out their content, see what kind of impression they might actually make with their audience. Once you have someone in mind, approach them and start a conversation. Let them know what you have in mind and see if they'd be open to a takeover idea. If they've done one before, that could help set expectations. Make sure you have a clear idea of what you would expect from them, what kind of freedom or access you're willing to give them, and what you hope to accomplish from all of this. Now, you might tell them, hey, come to our office and go wherever you want, talk to anybody, but at some point come down to where we're making the product. We have a cool idea for showing the process, something like that. Or it could also be like, hey, we'll be rolling out our new product at this event, and during these 3 hours, we want you to, take over the account and do snaps and videos about, anything you want. Whatever it is, be sure to set any limits you feel are necessary. Please don't talk about any competitors, for example, or don't mention this product we haven't released yet. But before you get all bossy and tell them what you want, understand that this is generally thought of as a collaboration. You ask them for a reason. They've got a following. So pick their brain and ask for their input. They know what their audience wants. What would you want to do? What would you think would be fun or a great surprise or a giveaway that we could do? The more involved they feel, the more they'll probably be willing to do this to make sure that it's a success. Now, if you come to an agreement and this takeover thing actually is going to happen, make sure you prepare some important things before it goes down. First of all, establish a point of contact with them so if they have any questions before, during, and after, they know that they can get a response pretty quickly. You don't want them to go haywire not knowing what they're supposed to be doing for this time period. Next thing is figure out how to get in touch with them during it if you're obviously not physically with them. So if something weird happens, you can actually contact them and hopefully correct the mistake. What you want to do is create a temporary password so they can access your account, and then after the takeover is done, change that password. Now, if your takeover person happens to, let's say, share your password with anyone in the process, who knows who that might be, well, it's only going to last for a certain period of time. But the most important thing to do before a takeover is to promote this thing. Get on Snapchat and your other channels and spread the word at least a week in advance. And then, again, maybe like a few days before, the day before, and the day of. Let people know exactly when it's happening. Maybe create a teaser telling people a takeover is happening, and tomorrow you'll reveal who it is. Then with the reveal, you share the date and time and obviously start counting down. Also, let your influencer know in advance. You'll help them come up with promotional information if they need it for their channels. It's a polite way of saying, we expect you to promote this too, and I'll write the stuff myself if I have to. You want to see them promoting this as well. Hopefully they do it a week in advance like you did. And if it doesn't happen, well, you can politely check in and ask them to do it. And once the takeover actually begins, don't obviously freak out. It should be a lot of fun, or at least an interesting experience. Watch their snaps and videos and look for reactions. Ask your influencer to make note of anything interesting that comes their way, like comments or other interactions. If possible, ask them to take a screenshot of them for you. This can be really helpful data to understand how people reacted to the takeover. If possible, shadow them and answer any questions, provide any info, do whatever you need to make the takeover a success. After that, just talk to them. Check out the reactions online and talk to your own people. How do they think it went? What worked? What didn't? Do you actually see an increase in followers? Did those followers end up bouncing and seeing your own webpage or whatever your goal was? And then take what you've learned and try to plan some more takeovers in the future. In general, first time you do this, it's probably not going to be very successful, but second or third time, you will know what you're doing. Equally likely, you figure out that, hey, this is a lot of work and it's not worth doing. Hey, that's fine. The whole point with growth channels is you just try them out and try different tactics, and some of them will work, some won't. If working with an external influencer doesn't work, you can also, if you have employees, try working with them instead. Obviously, don't be afraid to try to change things up, but at the same time, obviously learn from the mistakes you make and then adjust. If you do actually try to tackle this, well then just try to enjoy the experience. Collaborating with someone who's found success on Snapchat is a great opportunity for you to pick up some tips, and if all goes well, it could lead to wins for both you and your takeover star. That pretty much sums it up of their Snapchat account and their brand. Relatively easy to pull off. You just have to find someone in your space that has a lot of followers on there. And usually it's better if you just go for like low profile, medium profile influencers that are directly relevant and most likely willing to do this. Now there's another way you can attract new users and get attention, and that is by, well, giving away stuff. So in this lecture, we're going to discuss how you can run a Snapchat promotion. So first off, promotions come in a bunch of different flavors. It's important to know the differences. Now, you could give away a prize to a random user. This is what we call a giveaway. You could also give away a prize to a user you choose based on some criteria or skill, like best comment, funniest video, or a selfie, whatever it is, and this is called a contest. You could also just post a code or a coupon directly on your account and have anyone use it. And technically, well, this is just known as marketing or sales promotion. It's not really the same thing. And while it's not technically in this family of tactics, we'll circle back to it later. So for now, let's talk about running a contest or running a giveaway. So why run a contest or a giveaway? Well, because you can generate some excitement by giving something away. People generally like free stuff. Sometimes it takes some old school bribing to get people to pay attention or take some action. The hope is that once they do that thing, like connect or buy your stuff, well, then they'll discover, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. Maybe I'll tell people about it or recommend it or write a nice review or whatever. So let's jump into an example. Let's say you've built a platform that helps companies, specifically let's say support people, track product suggestions coming from different channels, like your help platform and your Slack and your email and so on. Product managers would love this. Your tool, let's say, helps organize and prioritize all the ideas that come in. Now, in order to drum up some interest and followers on Snapchat, well, let's say you decide to do a giveaway. 5 random followers will each get a free 6-month basic account, whatever that is, and that is worth sharing. Now, let's say this is a requirement. All people have to do is just follow you on Snapchat, and at noon tomorrow, you'll pick 5 people and then give them codes for, the 6 months of access. Easy as that. If you wanted to, you could also ask that they send a snap of winning it in order for them to redeem it. So this promotion is what's known as a giveaway. You don't require any purchase, no extra steps beyond simply following you on Snapchat. As a promotion, it's very straightforward, easy to understand, and probably would get you more followers than a contest, which requires people to take additional steps to try to win, and we'll mention that in a sec. Now, the problem, though, could be that you might get a lot of people who aren't really qualified. That is, don't really know anything about your brand, or if your product would be a good fit for them. Now, you'd hate to go through all of this effort just to give 6 months of service to some random person that doesn't need it or use it. Now, the other problem is if you're picking a winner from your new followers, it's possible some of them didn't actually follow you because of the contest, so they might not even want the prize. In some cases, of course, they would, but in others, who knows? It is possible is all I'm saying. Now, if you wanted to do the same kind of thing, get new followers and give some of them a prize, but you wanted to qualify them first, you could do a contest. Now, a contest is where you require people to enter the promotion by taking an action, ideally something straightforward, but requiring some kind of skill or thinking on their part. It could be a free t-shirt to the funniest comment on the thread, or maybe it's a discount code to the person who answers a trivia question first. Maybe you do a themed contest during the holiday, like a picture of a Halloween costume that cleverly includes the product in it somehow. If you follow our earlier example of the company helping you track user suggestions across platforms, maybe their contest would require people to follow them on Snapchat and then create a snap where they do a quick video explaining their biggest pain point or why they need a solution like this one in the first place. And then you pick the 5 best suited ones according to your own criteria and give them the prize. Either way, whether you do a giveaway or a contest, you must adhere to Snapchat's official rules on promotion. You can and should review them for yourself, but the long and the short of it is this. Make it easy for people to take part in it. Include instructions that are super easy to understand, and state in your rules in any promotion you do that Snapchat has nothing to do with the contest, and that means don't use, obviously, any Snapchat logos or names or anything like that. And don't encourage users to do bad stuff as part of your contest. Obviously, bad stuff being anything that's generally illegal or just in bad taste. Those rules are really simple and really clear. Number 1, people might just not enter. Maybe they just don't get it, don't have time to figure it out, and they just pass on it. Number 2 is people might get angry. Why didn't I win? I did what you asked, didn't I? My thing is great. Well, complainers might make you look bad as well, so keep that in mind. And then number 3, it's an outside chance, but maybe you get sued. In general, just try to avoid this drama at all cost, and just make sure that your instructions are super clear and idiot-proof. A lot of times contests will actually type out the steps 1, 2, 3 in a picture, so it's as obvious as possible. For a chance to win a free Pokemon t-shirt, follow us at PokeShirts on Snapchat by noon Eastern on Wednesday, April 15. We'll pick 5 new followers at random and, contact the winners for shirt size and delivery address. Whatever, very clear. More detail, the better. Now, in addition to clear instructions, you also need official rules. Now, rules are not the same as instructions. Official rules include all the legal stuff to define the terms of your promotion, and especially to protect yourself in case someone raises an argument of some kind. Now, how can you create official rules? Generally just have to do some basic research. Some people go as far as to hire a lawyer. Better call Saul! I'll give you a bit of a shortcut. If you want to see what rules and what rules templates generally look like, check out ShortStack, because they created one you actually might be able to edit and just use it yourself. But again, my advice is just to be careful. So once you're ready to roll out your contest or giveaway, you'll need to promote it. People need to know about it, so let them know what it's for, when it's happening, deadlines, and all the basics. But, and this is important, if you're giving away something that involves a different brand or a company, you cannot mention their name unless, of course, they've given you official permission. For example, if you're giving away a new Samsung Galaxy 6000 or whatever, you can't promote this as a Samsung Galaxy giveaway, technically. You can list it as a prize, that part is perfectly fine, but you can't make it look like Samsung or some other company is actually endorsing it or putting on the contest. So make sure you have a plan to spread the news of this promotion to your other channels, and then on Snapchat, make sure in the days leading up to it, you do plenty of promotion and reminders. Want a tip? Well, here's something that actually works decently well with Snapchat giveaways. You actually run a Facebook ad, right? Snapchat doesn't have ads yet, or maybe they do when you're listening to this, but you can run a Facebook ad, and since it's a giveaway, it generally will get a lot of attention, and if you make it relevant enough, well, that's some really cheap signups. Now, when your deadline has passed and it's up for you to pick your winners, do that quickly and announce the winners so you can maintain the momentum that you've built up. After your promotion, see how many followers you did get or how much website traffic or sales you got from a rebound from that account. Now, did this make any impact at all? You might find that the occasional promotion like this can even out the growth of your followers on Snapchat, and you can apply some of what you've learned to running promotions on other channels as well. We'll actually talk about this with Instagram. So one last thing. Remember how I mentioned earlier you could give away a code or a discount and how that's basically marketing or sales promotion? Well, if you're freaked out by the complexity or the legality of running a contest, you can actually just try this one instead. It's a lot more straightforward. Snap a code or coupon that your followers can use to get a discount or a free item. Now, here's what you could do. You can announce on various channels at the beginning of the week you'll be sharing a code or coupon on Snapchat on Wednesday, or Wednesday at noon, or at noon today. Let people know when to look, then snap and share the code. Since your snap will be gone after a certain amount of time, it's basically a limited time offer. Make the code unique to Snapchat so you can track the results, and make it simple so they can remember it. Not too simple though, don't make it obvious like Snapchat, because obviously people just guess that. Anyway, see how many people use the discount code. It's pretty easy to track when you do it that way. If you get good results, maybe that's the kind of promotion you could run periodically to get people over to Snapchat. It's straightforward and it could work for you, especially if you're selling a digital product with high margins, let's be real. So there you go, there's a few ways to run promotions on your Snapchat channel. Good luck, hopefully you figure it out. See you guys in the next lecture.